Season 2 of Squid Games just premiered, and despite it being entertaining, a lot of people have been really underwhelmed by the ending. And that's because it simply was not a complete story. Spoilers for Season 2 ahead. In the final episode of the season, there were no satisfying payoffs or conclusions to any of the storylines that were built up throughout the entire season. Song Gi-hoon never gets to see that number 1 was the front man all along. Hwang Jun-ho never figures out that the captain is the rat in the group. And after being built up earlier in the season and given backstory as if she was going to be an important character, guard number 11 was barely even mentioned in the final episode of the season. There were no satisfying conclusions to any of the questions raised during the course of the season. They could have simply added 1 or 2 extra episodes to season 2 that would have made it feel more like a complete story while still raising a lot of questions. But low episode season TV shows is a topic for another day. And after hearing online that season 2 and 3 of Squid Games were filmed together and intended as a part 1 and part 2, I couldn't help but punch my desk in frustration. Breaking a story into a part 1 and part 2 does not excuse a storyteller from telling a complete story. If more effort was put into the writing of season 2 and 3 of Squid Games, then there could have been satisfying conclusions in season 2 while still having questions about what will happen in season 3. But Squid Games season 2 does not provide a full complete story, and it's ridiculous. And the more frustrated I got about this, I realized Squid Games isn't the only offender. Across the Spider-Verse had no payoff and genuinely ended out of nowhere, all because it will be finished in part 2. Well, part 2 has been delayed until 2026 when part 1 released in 2023. That's a 3-year gap to get a satisfying conclusion to one singular story. I won't even goddamn remember who all the characters are within 3 years, let alone remember the emotional stakes and where they are left off in part 1. The massive gap between getting the complete story completely destroys the impact of the story, and it's just sad. Even musicals are doing it now with Wicked Part 1 and Part 2. It's a goddamn movie based off a musical that is going to be double the length of the actual stage production. I liked Wicked, but that's goddamn unacceptable. Broadway manages to tell the full story in 3 hours, and that's with an intermission. It seems that companies have decided that telling incomplete stories with year-long gaps in between them is the best way to increase profits, despite ruining the experience of the viewer. For movies, it forces people to go to the theater multiple times and buy multiple tickets instead of just one, and for Netflix, it forces people to stay subscribed for longer and pay for more months just to be able to see the conclusion to a story. It's a terrible practice that has been ruining recent media storytelling, and it's showing no signs of slowing down. Clearly, we have an issue in modern media. Studio heads are solely focused on making as much money as possible, while completely downgrading the viewer's experience in the process. Two-parters are killing good storytelling, and it's a damn shame. Maybe that's why I like to go back and rewatch old content so much, to feel like I'm back in time where things feel a bit more complete. But enough of me yapping. What do you guys think? Do you think two-parters are ruining recent releases, or do you not mind them? Let me know in the comments and let's kick it. If you watch this long, subscribe and like the video. It really helps. It gives me a ton of support, and it means the world to me. Also, quick thanks to the channel member, Kendyl OK. Still the only member. Can't say enough good things about you. You're doing an amazing job. I'm proud of you. All right, thanks for listening.